Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to the Math Family Literacy Night, Spring 2021. I am Francine Balderrama, a teacher for migrant education in Region 18, and I am happy to go over the migrant services that we offer, and then we will jump into the math activities with Dr. Klein and Mrs. Windover after these services are presented. So let's look at some of the services that we offer here at Migrant Education for all school sites, all 4 school sites. So we have Pioneer Valley, Santa Maria High School, Delta High School, and Rigetti High School. Some of the things that myself and the migrant school advisor, Adriana Martinez, do are case management. So we have individualized learning plans where we complete a plan for each student to make sure they're not credit deficient or if they need help with tutoring and to offer other services. We also do health referrals, student materials and supplies in case students need any materials for school. Ongoing identification and recruitment. So we are always recruiting students and we are making phone calls to make sure that students have their needs met. Migrant services continued. We have some services like speech and debate, where we have regional competitions. We have Cyber High program, which is a credit recovery program offered during the school year and summer so that students can make up any classes they need to retake. We have the College and Career Readiness Academy, which will focus on writing to be college and career ready. We have a spring and fall academy. We also have our Math and Leadership Academy that just started, and this will focus on research skills for math and science. We also have our summer programs and leadership opportunities where students can continue their learning. For migrant education, we also have parent meetings and workshops, student workshops as well. Math Literacy Night, which you are joining one right now. Okay, student workshops. So far, these are all of the workshops we have for this year. Meet and greet with counselors. We went over migrant services, graduation requirements, and career pathways. We had the getting ready for college/university, A through G requirements, financial aid, and application process. We've also hosted the migrant education program services and activities and a health and wellness workshop that is coming up in March. One cool thing that we also offer for our migrant students here at Region 18 is academic tutoring. We have it Monday through Friday, 2:30 to 4 p.m. using our Zoom link. And here we also include our students who need help with their Cyber High assignments. I'm going to go ahead and quickly give you an overview of our migrant education webpage geared toward students. Here we have all of the websites to each school site, including the district website. An overview of the homepage, you can see our Zoom links so students can quickly get connected to us to ask questions and to receive services, to get signed up for services. An overview of our migrant education services I just went over in English and in Spanish. Here's our link to our Instagram page where we give announcements and feature student announcements. Here we have a gallery of photos from this school year and last school year. Some really neat announcements for our migrant education students. Prize information. So every service a student participates in, they have an opportunity to receive a prize. Let's go ahead and move on to our tutoring tab here up on top. Here's a tutoring schedule, 2:30 to 4 with our Zoom link. Students can also receive more information and join our Zoom using this link as well. It's the same thing. Students may also register and give us more information on which type of help they actually need. Let's move on to our supplemental instructional programs. Here we have listed the College and Career Readiness Academy for spring. So here is a academy for 9th and 10th graders who have not yet mastered the CASP test for English Language Arts. This academy focuses on writing to be college and career ready. Mathematics and Leadership Academy. This academy just started and will be ending in May. Let's move on to speech and debate. We have a speech team and a debate team. Here are some photos from last year's speech and debate team. And the prize for these two teams is a Canon printer. We also have MPAC, which are the family meetings. We record for migrant education announcements and reports for migrant families. We have it in English and in Spanish dating back since September 16th, 2020. So check these out if you would like to hear more about announcements for migrant education geared just for parents. Move on to additional services. Cyber High, if your student is enrolled in Cyber High, you can quickly click there and be linked to the Cyber High page. Again, if your student is enrolled in Cyber High or if you are enrolled in Cyber High, you can join this Zoom meeting every Monday through Friday, 2:30 to 4, so that you can get help with your Cyber High classes and homework. Student workshops, if you're ready to go ahead and register for our next workshop, which is the Getting Ready for College. It's on March 10th at 4:30. Please click this link and register. Here's some prizes from our past students who have received this prize for attending a past workshop. And our directory at the end, if you wish to contact myself, my name is Francine Balderrama. This is my information here. You can call my office. I also have a migrant cell phone number where you can call or text. You can also email me. Here's information for Adriana Martinez, our migrant school advisor, with her phone number here at the bottom and also her email included as well. If you know anybody who may be interested in seeing if they qualify for migrant education, please contact Erika Anaya. Here is her migrant cell phone number and her email. You can pass on that information to anybody else who might be interested in joining migrant education. And that's it. That's a quick overview of our migrant education services. Again, if you have any questions or any needs, please don't hesitate to call me. We will go ahead and continue with our presentation on our math literacy night. Here we have Dr. Klein. Enjoy.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Klein, and I think it's fun to wear a different hat each week to show the students that we can have fun in class and that they can show their faces on their videos. I was born and raised here in Santa Maria, and I went to Santa Maria High School and graduated, as did my husband and my 2 children. I hold a bachelor's degree in engineering from USC, my master's and my teaching credentials from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and my doctorate from Pepperdine. This is a doctorate hat. You can call me Mrs. Klein or Dr. Klein or Professora Klein. I have taught for over 30 years and I enjoy teaching migrant students. Yo puedo hablar español más o menos, pero cuál es más importante, yo trato Trying is really important. My goal for your students in this class is to learn good habits and leadership skills, including how to work in a group and how to present to the class. I also want them to be able to be good problem solvers, predict outcomes, try different ideas, work through real world problems, and practice their number sense. And of course, we need to have a little fun. I have some games and puzzles that I would think will help them better understand their math concepts and be a little creative. So the first thing I wanted to share with you is a card game using your deck of cards. This can be done alone like solitaire, or you can even play with another family member. So let me share my screen. It's for my document camera, which I use during class time. And so we're just turning over. I've taken out all of the face cards and the tens. So we just have 1 and aces 1 through all the other numbers. The colors are not important with this game, although we'll be playing other games where the color will be important. So you can see how I'm putting the cards so that they're touching other cards, and we're going to end with 5. The ace is a 1. Running out of a little room here. So now this game is called Make 10. A more advanced version would be Make 15 using 3 cards. But here what you need to do is make 10 using 2 cards. And again, it's like solitaire. So I right away see 8 and 2 make 10. So I get to keep these. And if you were playing with another person now, they would need to try to make 10. So there's an ace, a 3, and a 1. So they wouldn't be able to make 10. So what they would have to do is pull another card and say, okay, can I make 10 using 2 cards? No, so they have to keep this card. Maybe they'll use it next time. So now I'm going to pull another card. I pull the 5. That's not going to work. So now I have a card. They have a card. They pull a 9. Hey, 9 and 1 makes 10. They get to keep, those are winning cards. So that's going to go in their winning pile, okay? Now it's my turn, and I can use this 3, or this 1, okay? So I'm going to pull a card, a 4. That's not going to work. The other student needs to pull a card. They have a 6. That's not going to work with a 3 and a 3 and a 1. My turn, I pull a card, I get a 4. It's not going to work. The other student pulls a 3. It's not going to work. I pull a 6. Darn. I need something that goes with the 1, so I'm looking for a 9. Something that goes with the 3, I'm looking at 7. I can only use these 3 cards because they're the ones not touching. Darn. I pulled a 7. So I am going to do this. Yay. I made 10. My other friend here pulls a 5. Now they're going to use a 2, a 3, and an ace, and 5 will not make 10. Oops, another 5. That's not going to work either. A 1. That's not going to work for them. I'm playing like there's 2 people here. This isn't going to work for me. This isn't going to work for them. This isn't going to work for me. I need an 8, a 7, or a 9 for this to work. Ooh, my partner here gets a 7. Color doesn't matter. So they can take away this one here. And that goes in their winning pile. Now it's my turn. I pull a 9. Yay, 9 and 1. Put that in my winning pile. Oh, my partner doesn't need to pull a card. Look, they should see that the 7 and the 3 makes 10. They're going to put that into their winning pile. Now it's my turn. A 2, a 9, and a 7. I pull a 5. That's not going to work. My partner pulls an 8. 8 and 2 works. Yay. Now it's my turn. I've got this 8, this 9, this 7. I pull a card. A 4 is not going to work. Then my partner, we're going to have to shuffle the deck. We've all used up these cards. My partner's going to pull a 6. It's not going to work. I pull a 2. Makes 10. My partner pulls a 6. Doesn't work. I pull a 4. Doesn't work. My partner pulls a 5. Doesn't work. These 2 cards are the only cards available. So I need a 1 to make 10 here and a 3 to make 10 here. So yay, I gained my 1. Now my partner could play these 2, but that doesn't make 10. So they're going to go, nope. I'm going to take a 5. Doesn't work. My partner takes a 6. Doesn't work. I take a 3. Hey, 3 and 7 make 10. Woohoo. Now these are the 2 cards we have left that we can use. My partner pulls a 5. Doesn't work. I pull it 2. 8. Doesn't work. I think I'm winning. I have a bigger pile right here. My partner pulls a 6. Doesn't work. I pull a 5. Doesn't work. My partner pulls a 6. Doesn't work. I pull a 4. Doesn't work. The only thing I can play is an ace, huh? So that doesn't work. There's the ace, and I think my partner got it. And then I pull a 5, doesn't work. My partner pulls a 4, doesn't work. We're looking for a 6, right? I pull a 4, they pull a 6, they win. And so what you would need to do now is count the cards, and that's the person that wins. Okay, so a fun game, especially if you've got brothers or sisters learning their numbers. The second thing that I want to play is beside a game is something with patterns, because patterns is so important in mathematics that we recognize patterns. And you could play these with, this is called windows and frames. And so I'm using that, you can't see that very well, can you? You could also do this with paper. If you don't have toothpicks at home, you could go ahead and just make them with paper, but I'm just showing how if we were in the classroom, we would be using manipulatives. Okay, and so we need to also be able to record our patterns. So what I see here is this is one window. So I have one window. And what do I see? One window has how many pieces of the frame? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is called windows and frames. And we're looking for a pattern. I see 4 frames. Okay, that's not a very big window. So what if you want it to be a bigger window? So what if we make it into 2 windows? And again, we could just do this as drawing, and that would also work too, but it's often more fun to play with the manipulatives. Okay, so now I have 2 windows. See a pattern here? How many frames? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 frames. Okay, and then we're gonna add more. What if I have 3 windows? 1, 2, 3. 3 windows. We would want them all straight if we were really building these. 3 windows. So see how we're going with a pattern here, and how many frames now do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I need 10 pieces to make my frames. So what we have going here is what we call an in and out chart, where the number of windows is our in, our frames is our out, and we are going in a nice, neat order here. And we want to be able to recognize the pattern. What is the pattern? So what we'll learn in this class is that this has a constant pattern of adding 3. So that means my rate of change is 3. And my starting point, I don't have a starting point, but the starting point is if we were able to work backwards to 0, and they would have a 1. So if I took this all away, we would be starting with just 1 frame. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. but that's true. So we have what is happening every time I make another window, I have to add the 3 sides to it, right? I'm only adding 3 sides because one already exists. And it's that one side that already exists, which gives us the equation here. So we're adding 3. So our equation is y equals 3x plus 1. And we could go ahead and graph this too. So in this class, they're going to learn about patterns, how we can make that into an in and out chart, how we can make that into a graph, how we could use to predict it. What if, that's really important. What if I've got this lovely house and I want 10 windows? How much framing would I need for that? How many pieces of my framing would need? So we need equations and we need to predict. And of course, we would want to do this working in a group, and we would want to present out our findings to the rest of the class. So again, I'm Mrs. Klein. I am looking forward so much to working with your students in our Migrant Math Leadership Academy. And please email me or contact me if you have any questions or concerns. So bye now.
Hello, my name is Miss Wendover, and I am one of the 2 math teachers for the Math and Leadership Academy. Right now, we are having our first of 2 family nights, and I'm going to go through a little slideshow that tells you a little bit about the Academy, and then goes through a little activity. I'll briefly tell you a little about myself because you might be wondering who is the person talking to you. I am a teacher at Santa Maria High School. It's actually my first year there because last year I taught at Pioneer Valley. I teach Algebra 1 right now, but in the past, I've taught a few variations of algebra and geometry. I love geometry and I love algebra a lot. More importantly, I love working with your students. In the past, I've also taught at a couple different schools up and down the coast. I graduated from Cal Poly back in 2014. I was the first student in my family to graduate college. My mom, she immigrated here from Peru in her 20s, and my dad was born and raised in America. These are some values that I try to hold in Math Academy and in my math classes in general. I try every day to hold these, and I definitely make mistakes. But some things that I value are mutual respect, patience, understanding, trust, and love. And I've been very impressed by your students this year and students in general, just with this whole transition to online. I have learned so much about myself. I hope that they have learned because they have been so flexible and adaptable. And I imagine that has been all because of the support of their families. So thank you. I try to remember, and I have days where I forget, that it is a privilege to be able to be here. Even though we're not physically here, we're online. It is a privilege to be able to work with your students and to be able to do what we do and learn and ideally, hopefully make a greater impact in this world. So here's just a couple things about Math Academy. Oh, on this previous slide, this picture is from my first year teaching. One of the students in my class drew this on the whiteboard on our last day of school, I believe. So, yeah. So Math Academy is a great opportunity for your son or daughter to get credit for extra math work. They get 2.5 credits after completing 30 hours of Math Academy. And at this point, your son or daughter will almost be done with, at the end of this week, they'll be done with 8. So they'll almost be a third of the way there. The goal is to get 30 to 40 hours because some students have sports or have other commitments. So we don't expect everyone to have perfect attendance, even though that would be awesome. So we provide extra hours and extra days in the end for those students to get the services and the hours they need to get the credit. And it's not just about the credit and the hours, that's a bonus. Ideally, this is to help them feel more confident in their math skills. So this class will help enrich their geometry skills and their algebra skills, especially after this year where maybe some skills were or could use a little extra practice. We're going to use a little bit of iExcel, which is an interactive, I think it's kind of fun online tool that's more individualized. So it allows us to give certain skills practice to your students. So if you have a student in geometry, they will work on geometry. If your student has difficulty with linear equations and algebra, they will get more practice with linear equations. So it's definitely more individualized. And then as a class, we'll work on something together. Yeah, so that's a little about that. And yeah, the goal of this class is just for your child to feel more confident in their math skills, and that will ideally be seen in their classes, on tests, on state tests, and throughout life where they need to apply these skills. Before we do a little activity, I want to show you what our Canvas page looks like. It's a little bare right now. I'll minimize this, but we have a little welcome to Math and Leadership Academy. I hope there's no spelling mistakes. And then every week I try to change the little picture here. And then we usually have an agenda of assignments that we do for the day. Some assignments that we have done so far, it's been 1 week, but we were able to look at data from your students to analyze on average how many hours of sleep does our little Math Academy class get. And this class is very good. On average, they get about 8 hours. There's some students that get more or less. And then we also looked at your students' favorite drinks. So these were some of your favorite drinks from your students. Starbucks, horchata, Arizona was a big favorite. So yeah. So right now I'm gonna go through a little interactive activity. You can grab your child, your student, your sibling, and I'll show you what it is. You're gonna wanna estimate the number of takis in this bowl or plate. So here are the directions. You're going to want to write down or remember your estimate. So take a moment to look at this picture and estimate how many takis are in this bowl. After each clue, you're going to be given 5 clues. You can alter your estimate to see if it's still possible, or to make it possible, or you could keep your estimate. So take a moment to think of an estimate, look at that picture, and then I'm going to show you the first clue. And you could pause this too, if you would like to think about it more or write it down. So for clue number 1, we know that your answer has to be in between 150 and 200. So if that was not something that applied to your estimate, I would take a moment right now to think of a new estimate and write that down. Or think of it and remember it in your head. For clue number 2, the answer is 3 less than a multiple of 5. This sounds more confusing than what it is. But if you are confused by what this means, I would first ask your son or daughter to see if they can explain it to you. But a multiple of 5, you could kind of look at it like nickels. If you have nickels, let me write that a little neater. And I count them. If I have 1 nickel, I have 5 cents. 2 nickels, I have 10 cents. 3 nickels, I have 15 cents. So I'm adding 5 each time. And this could go on forever. We get to spend forever writing this. But my clue says that my answer is 3 less than a multiple. So what I want to do is subtract 3. So 5 minus 3, that's 2. 10 minus 3, that is 7. That is not 10. 15 minus 3, that's 12. 20 minus 3, that's 17. 25 minus 3, that's 22, and so on. So you'll see, so I'm going to go to this top line. There's a pattern that forms. And you could go on forever, but you'll notice that what digits, or you'll notice the digits that appear the most, and you'll notice what digit your answer, your estimate has to end with to comply with this rule. So looking at this pattern, your estimate should end with a 2 or a 7 to make sure that it fits with this rule or this clue. So take a moment, double check your estimate, change it if you must or if you can, and then I'll move on to the third clue. You could pause it if for some reason, if you want more time, that's totally okay. I'll go ahead and go on to the third clue, but feel free to pause this. Okay, for clue number 3, our answer is a multiple of 3. So it's similar to our previous clue when we're dealing with multiples, but right now we don't have to subtract anything. I just need to be aware that my answer is a multiple of 3. So you could go on forever and write all the multiples of 3, but remember that our clue also has to be, our estimate also has to be in between 150 and 200. So I would go ahead and ask your son or daughter or your sibling what you can do to ensure that the estimate you have complies with this rule or follows this rule. It has to be a multiple of 3 and it has to be in this range. Okay, the fourth clue is the number does not contain the digits 7 or 8. So if you have an estimate that has a 7 or 8 in it at this point, take a moment to think of a new estimate that follows this clue and the other clues. Okay, and then clue number 5, the last one, is if you cut this number in half, we get a perfect square number. So a perfect square, again, this is a great question to ask your son or daughter, but it is a number like, for example, 64. Let me do this in a different color. I'll do this in yellow. Maybe you have seen the square root sign. That are the exact same that multiply together. Units squared. But let's take a moment. This will only take a minute at most. I'm going to show you the perfect squares we have. So, and this list goes on forever. 1 times 1, that's 1. 2 times 2, that's 4. So 4 is the perfect square. 3 times 3, that's 9. Forever, but we want to take our estimate, so take your estimate, cut it in half, and double check that you get a perfect square. So if my estimate was 200, I want to cut it in half, that's 100, and I want to see if 100 is a perfect square, and it is. Ironically, it is. Now, 200 is not our answer because it doesn't satisfy some of the other clues, but that's just an example that shows you how to go about this clue. Okay, so right now, I'm going to go ahead and show you the clues one more time. This is your last chance to change your answer or double check your estimate. The answer we know for sure is between 150 and 200. The answer is 3 less than a multiple of 5. The answer is a multiple of 3. The answer does not contain the digit 7 or 8. And if you cut this answer in half, or the estimate in half, we get a perfect square. So after seeing the clues, please narrow down what you have as your answer. You can pause here, and I'm going to show you the answer. The answer is somewhere on this page. Maybe if I move my little chip, I'll see it. And the answer is 162. So you can double check if you would like and see if 162 satisfies all these clues. So double check, that's good. The answer is 3 less than a multiple of 5. Let me divide by 3. I'm sorry, this writing is going into. Sorry about that. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, that's satisfied. 3 goes into 162. Let me delete this. The answer is 3 less than a multiple of 5. I skipped that clue. But if I go back to what we said about the clue number 2, it ends with the number 2, and that's what we notice in our pattern. We notice our pattern went 2, 7, 12, 17, 22, so on. So that's good. The answer does not contain our 7 or 8. Perfect. And the answer, if you cut this in half, let me cut it in half. We get 81. We get a perfect square. 81 is a perfect square. It's 9 times 9 equals 81. So that is our answer. And there might be another answer. So if you found another one, please let me know. I would love to know. I just found one. So if you found another one, please let me know. If you would like to contact me with anything at all, any concerns, or anything that you feel like your child could use extra practice in, my email is rwindover@smjuhsd.org. Thank you so much for watching this. Have a great evening, morning, afternoon, and I look forward to learning and working with your child. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our first Family Math Literacy Night. Feel free to join us again. We would love to have you again on March 30th at 6:30. Thank you.